What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and Most of All Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And what are we going to be talking about today, Kyle?
Today, we're going to be talking about simple steps to get back on track after special events, falling off, slipping up, you name it. We're humans. We've been helping people for over 10 years now, and we've seen everything. We've helped 5,000 clients now one-on-one, and we understand life can happen, right? For some people, it's having a baby. For some people, it's work events. Traveling is another thing. Losses are also another unfortunate thing that take place, and there will be times within our journey where we have to take a step back, whether we decide to or whether it just happens. So these are steps, and even if it's a weekend where you feel like you fell off, these tips will help you out. Take it one by one, start to think about what you can incorporate, and I promise you it'll make a big difference. But the first thing, I'm going to talk about reflection. I think the first thing that needs to get out of the way is just ask yourself how you could do better next time. So you'll see from this episode, it's not about dwelling on the past. That's not what it is at all, but you can always learn something. Let's just say you happen to have some sort of break and you think back to where you could have maybe incorporated exercise, where you could have ordered a meal prep service instead of going to the drive-thru or ordering Uber Eats all the time or whatever it is that you may do. Sit down with yourself for 5, 10, 15 minutes and reflect on what potentially took place and how you can navigate moving forward. I find a lot of times when we have slip-ups, when we have these different parts of our journey that we could do better on, we just kind of keep moving and we never think about it. And while I think that is also an important part of it, I really do believe we can learn a lot from our mistakes. So even myself, I've had numerous times where I had a bad weekend or maybe a week where I went away and I think I could have done a little bit better. And moving forward, the only way I'm able to get better is knowing that and spending time thinking about those potential mistakes and whatnot. So spend a bit of time and then move forward. But I think it's such an important question to ask yourself when you mess up. Let's just say we could say you mess up or you decide to take that break. Ask yourself how you could do better next time, and then you'll keep moving forward. That's going to be tip number 1 for today.
Yeah, and my second tip for today is going to be just really focusing on the next step in front of you. It can be really easy to worry about everything that's about to happen and get really overwhelmed, but you need to say, what is my immediate action? So if I have a weekend where it's a bachelor party, it's late nights, not great sleep, no training, bad food perhaps, you have to say, okay, what is right in front of me today? And I think the first decision most often would be waking up on time. You might be drained from that weekend. You might want to sleep in, mess your schedule. Instead, you'll say, okay, what's my first step? I'm going to wake up on time. When I do that, I'm going to have a good meal. I'm going to go to the gym. And when you just break it down into those smaller steps, it seems a lot more reasonable, especially when you're out of sync of your normal routine, because it can be really daunting to say, like, I have so much to do. I'm behind on work. I'm behind on sleep. I'm behind on fitness, right? So you need to say, like, what is my priority right now? Lean into that priority and really just focus on executing on that, because if you get too stuck in that noise, that's really going to prevent you from actually taking that first action and perhaps delaying actually getting back to where you need to be.
And next up, I truly believe it's so important not to go down to 0%. So what I mean by this is very often when different events occur, a lot of people, they completely forget about everything. They stop their walks. They never track a calorie again. They don't show up at the gym. I was going to say they pause their gym membership, but they don't think about it. They just don't show up. And this can really, really hurt you. Honestly, when it comes down to these very busy times, and this is something that's very hard for people to realize, but I truly believe that the journey is actually going to help you. So I know it's not easy to hear, but I want you to remember and consider, like, whatever it is that we go through, whether it's a period of time where we, even like for me having a newborn, it was very important for me to show up to the gym to be the best version of myself. It's very important to start to eat healthier. For people who are also going through losses, once again, very unfortunate and very hard to hear. But the truth is that that time where you spend bettering yourself, even if it's just you give yourself half an hour a day, whatever it is, that's actually going to help you go through things. So when it comes down to these particular events that unfortunately will continue to happen as we go through life, whether it's just, like crazy events, whether it's weekends away, whether it's whatever, instead of just saying, I'm going to completely forget about everything, ask yourself, how can I still show up even if it's to a lesser degree? So even here, I've got a note that says, if you operate at 90%, you may go down to 65 to 75%, which means it'll be easier for you to build habits back up. So when you do decide to go fully into it and just 100% jump in, you won't have gotten rid of all those great habits that you built up. You'll still have kept some of it. You'll, instead of doing 90-minute workouts or whatever you're used to, you maybe did 45-minute workouts. Instead of tracking everything to the T, you still roughly ballpark it and you try to keep a rough log, and you'll be good to go when you try to jump back into it. So this alone, I truly believe, will make such a big difference. Try to maintain some sort of habits and you'll be in a good spot as you try to get back into it.
Well said. And I'll have a little bonus on this one for tip number 6. So make sure you stay tuned. But my next tip, and this is probably the biggest one, is avoiding focusing too much on the past. Instead, focus on what's in front of you, be present, and acknowledge where you're at now. So I really love the adage, what's done is done. There is no worse feeling than dwelling on the past on something you can't change. And I made it like a personal rule where I won't do that anymore, because I've realized it's just so unproductive. If only, if this, that, the other, like you can't go back and change anything. I say that to Kyle all the time because it's really easy to dwell on that and say, oh, I shouldn't have made this mistake. Or if I just was paying better attention, I would have gotten that car accident, whatever it may be. It's so easy to beat yourself up on these things. Or even for me, I was thinking like immediately when I hurt my shoulder, I was like, I could have avoided this by doing 6 things. I'm like, this is stupid. Unless you're a time traveler, and if you are, please come help me as well. You're not going to be able to go back and make any change. So what's done is done, right? Whatever it was, you had a bad weekend, you had a couple bad months, couple bad weeks, things got away from you, you had one bad meal, whatever it is, you are where you are now and you need to work from that level, right? So you need to be honest, like Kyle said, at your capacity of what you can do, but you really just need to say like, what's in front of me? What's that small step? And I think acceptance is a big part of this, because when you reject that and you feel like you're just too caught up in the past, you don't actually have the time to be in the present and make change. So even if you gain 10 pounds, you're the worst month ever, you're up 10 pounds, you don't know what happened, like you can keep dwelling on that and beat your old self up, say, I should have never done that, I made mistakes. Or you could say, okay, what's done is done. Why did this happen? How can I stop this from happening going forward? And what's my next step?
I think so many people struggle with this because the fact that they continuously beat themselves up, it makes it so much harder to take that right next step, right? Thinking I would be so much further ahead. And a lot of it is a mental game, right? Thinking like, man, I just wasted so much time. And like Josh said, the example of being 10 pounds up, you just think like I would have been 10 pounds down. And you just play these mind games. You have to be so... like, you can't be hard on yourself like this. And this is where number 5 is going to come in handy, is just having accountability. Because like I said, I've seen everything under the sun like you would never believe before. 10 years of coaching. Every single person is so unique. Everyone has different lifestyles. Some people have had kids throughout the journey. Some people have had, like I said, losses, some crazy trips. Everything happens. Everything does happen for a reason. But at the same time, when you have someone who can make adjustments for you, it makes such a big difference. So like I said, my clients will come to me with different problems, with different things going on, and I'll come with solutions. It's about meeting you where you're at, making adjustments. I had a client recently say, I just had a last minute trip booked for my graduation. Okay, cool. We'll navigate it. We'll make sure you still enjoy. We might make some calorie adjustments. We might make some body weight hotel workouts. Like, we can still find a way around that. But the truth is, with all these events that do pop up, if you're just doing it by yourself, like, nobody's going to notice that you miss a workout. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's really going to care if you're eating well. Like, it's so easy to just like never step foot in a gym again, like without people checking in on you. That's where having accountability makes such a big difference. So first of all, get the people on board around you. Like our friend recently said, I'm trying to lose 15 pounds. He made it public. I'm going to call him out, right? Like, it's very important to share that with other people around you, whether it's your spouse, your friends. But the most important thing is that those people won't always be honest with you. When you have a coach by your side, like myself, like Josh, like our team, we will come up with a game plan. We'll help you get back on track. We've had people say, I haven't worked out in years. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I had an injury where recently I had, a client, Chris, he hurt himself and he was scared to deadlift again. He was scared to squat again. He was scared to work out again because of that. I'm able to create something to help him build his confidence and work around that. So I know I've said it a lot here. Having accountability makes such a big difference. if you're struggling on your journey, you continuously fall off, you do maybe 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 month on, 1 month off, maybe you haven't been in the gym in a while, you haven't been eating well, message me real results on Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusUSFIT. I will guarantee your results. I'll help you every single step of the way, and I can't wait for you to be my next success story.
Yeah, nothing beats accountability. And even my next tip is to be patient, but don't make excuses for yourself. So I love what Kyle said too, because I think it clarifies what I'm going to say better. Because I'll see people and they'll say, in high school, I used to do these lifts, this, that, the other, and maybe 10, 15 years have gone by, and these guys are like 100 pounds heavier, 50 pounds heavier, or whatever. You might not have that same ability. And I think when you go in and you're like half as weak, it's discouraging. But you have to be like, okay, this is where I'm at. Like I said, you need to have that patience and to understand that you'll have to build up. You may not be at that old capacity. You might not immediately lose that 10 pounds that you put on, but you have to understand that you're actually going to need to put in the work. Because on the flip side, sometimes I find people will get out of sync and they'll be too easy for themselves. And it's a natural human tendency, right? I've done it where I haven't lifted for like, okay, well, never mind. I was going to say I haven't lifted for a week, but I don't know if I've ever not lifted for a week outside of my surgery. I've been very consistent, but I'll have clients that haven't lifted for a while. For me, it might be 2 or 3 days. And you'll go, ooh, maybe I won't do compounds. Maybe I'll just do some biceps and shoulders. And you start cutting little things out. You do it a little bit easier. That's not really going to help you, because it's already giving yourself that mindset that it's okay if I take shortcuts. It's going to diminish your capacity to grow. But at the same time, if you need to be realistic, when I came out of my surgery, and then I actually didn't lift for a week because I had a hernia surgery and naturally I wasn't cleared to fully lift, I had to be realistic. My workout was being on a treadmill for 20 minutes, and I scaled that up, and I scaled into lighter weights and then heavier weights. But if you're like just perfectly healthy, you've been out with the boys on the weekend, things got out of control, you're at a cottage or something, you ate too much, it's a different story, right? And you come in and you're like, I'm not going to do legs this week, I'm going to do biceps. Wrong precedent. You don't really have a good reason not to do that hard thing. So you're better to embrace yourself and to get right back in that rhythm. And with clients, when they don't lift for a while, there'll be a hesitancy to lift heavy because you know you'll be sore. But unfortunately, it's like the price you need to pay to get back in it. And it's funny because I'm like rarely sore. People say, oh my gosh, you lift so heavy, so hard, you must be sore all the time. And I tell people, like, I'm very rarely sore just because I've done it so much. My body is really like used to it, to be honest. And that's how I operate. I'm always lifting, I'm always healing. But when you stop is when it actually becomes the hardest. So somebody's got to repay that price of that pain. And it's hard to do that if no one's there to catch you, right? Whereas when you have that accountability, and I tell my client, make sure you're hitting legs this week. I don't want to see you skipping. I'm going to be checking in on you. Send me a video of your squats. It makes it that much easier to actually see it through. So I think you need to be realistic with yourself, but also sometimes like it sucks, like maybe getting back into rhythm after you're on vacation and you overate and you didn't move. It's going to be hard. You're going to be sore. It's not going to be easy getting in the gym. It's hard adjusting to time changes, but like most often you just got to embrace the suck and just get it done.
So well said. And even as Josh was speaking, I was thinking of like one of the biggest common mistakes. I know we kind of talked about easing back into it, but I'll talk to so many people who have taken time off and they want to do everything. Like they want to start with 7 workouts a week, 2 hours a day. They want to start marathon training. They want to go to the supplement store and just buy everything. And those are the people who last typically 1 week, maybe 2 weeks max. And I think it's so important to take that next step. I know that was Josh's tip number 2, but I want to stress, like, take it easy, ease into it, and go from there, right? Build up the consistency, build up a momentum, build up the habits, and you'll be back in it in full swing. But it's just so common, I see, and I talk to people who are just like so ambitious because they've taken that time off, and unfortunately it ends up biting them because they only last for a little bit of time. Like when it comes down to it, the next step is asking yourself, how can I build up resilience and a routine where no matter what happens, I can maintain a certain level of this entire fitness journey? How can I make it fit my lifestyle? And that most important part is like having it just, be part of your lifestyle, not be this crazy thing that's in front of you. So I think that was a great episode. Like I said, if mistakes happen, don't beat yourself up, jump back into it. Have some consistency, and of course have accountability. It makes a really, really big difference.
So there you have it. 6 ways to get back on track after falling off, after events happen, after breaks in life, whatever it may be. And just know you absolutely can. And don't just aim to get to where you were, aim to break through it. Always be improving, growing, pushing forward. That's what it's all about. And that's when I find you're the most inspired. So thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love this episode, please take the time to review our podcast. That really would mean a lot. We'd love to work with you one-on-one as well. So always feel free to shoot over that keyword and we will take great care of you. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.